The ocean is massive, covering over 70% of our planet, and yet we've explored less of it than we have the surface of the moon. The deeper you go, the stranger things get. We're talking creatures that look like they crawled straight out of a nightmare, animals that were supposed to be extinct millions of years ago, and monsters that actually inspired ancient legends. Stick around, because by the end of this, you'll never look at the ocean the same way again. Number 7. The oarfish. Sailors along the Atlantic and Pacific coasts have told stories of enormous sea serpents for centuries. Most people wrote those stories off as folklore, the kind of tall tales you'd expect from men who'd been at sea too long. But here's the thing, those stories weren't entirely made up. The oarfish is likely the creature behind most sea serpent legends. This fish can grow longer than a school bus, up to 56 feet in some reported cases, making it the longest bony fish on Earth. Its body is long, silver, and ribbon-like, moving through the water in a way that looks exactly like what ancient sailors would have described as a massive serpent. Oarfish live in the mesopelagic zone, also called the twilight zone, roughly 660 to 3,300 feet below the surface, where sunlight barely reaches. They almost never come up to shallow water voluntarily. When they do wash ashore or appear near the surface, it's typically because they're sick or dying. In Japan, oarfish strandings have long been treated as omens of earthquakes and tsunamis, earning them the nickname messengers from the sea god's palace. The deep sea could be hiding oarfish that dwarf anything we've ever recorded. Number 6. Giant isopods. Giant isopods are essentially what happens to when a pill bug or roly-poly gets exposed to the conditions of the deep ocean and grows to the size of a house cat. On land, isopods are tiny, most are under an inch long, but in the deep sea, they can reach 20 inches or more and weigh over 3 pounds. This is a well-documented phenomenon called deep-sea giantism, where cold temperatures, extreme pressure, and scarce food sources cause certain species to grow far larger than their shallow water or land-based relatives. Isopods first appeared during the Carboniferous period, roughly 300 million years ago, a time when Earth's oxygen levels were significantly higher and giant arthropods dominated the planet. We're talking about millipedes the size of cars, dragonflies with 2-foot wingspans, and sea scorpions that could reach 10 feet in length. When climate shifts wiped most of them out, some survived by retreating to the deep ocean, where conditions remained stable. Giant isopods are their descendants, essentially unchanged for hundreds of millions of years. They're scavengers, feeding on dead animals that sink to the ocean floor, whale carcasses, fish, squid. They can go years without eating and survive just fine. They're also fully armored, can curl into a ball for defense, and have compound eyes that give them a wide field of vision in near total darkness. Number 5. The goblin shark. Most people know about the megalodon, the enormous prehistoric shark that went extinct around 3.6 million years ago. But here's a shark that's been around far longer than that and is still alive today. The goblin shark has existed for approximately 125 million years, surviving mass extinctions that wiped out the dinosaurs and countless other species. Scientists call it a living fossil because its body plan has remained almost unchanged since the Cretaceous period. It looks like something a special effects team designed for a horror movie. A pale, almost translucent pink body, a long, flat snout like a blade, and jaws that extend several inches outward from its face in under 0.03 seconds. That jaw mechanism is one of the fastest strike speeds of any known animal. The goblin shark essentially slingshots its mouth forward to catch prey, a hunting technique called slingshot feeding. By the time its target realizes what's happening, it's already over. These sharks typically live at depths between 900 and 4,300 feet. They're rarely encountered by humans, which is probably for the best, considering they look like what would happen if you crossed a great white with a medieval weapon. Number 4. The Bobbit Worm. The bobbit worm might be the most unsettling predator on this list, not because of its size, but because of how it hunts. It buries itself beneath the sand on the ocean floor, leaving only a small portion of its body exposed. When a fish or other animal passes close enough, the worm explodes upward, seizes its prey with powerful scissor-like jaws, and drags it underground before it can react. These worms can grow up to 10 feet long, but the vast majority of their body remains buried at any given time. Their jaws are strong enough to slice prey clean in half. They have no eyes, navigating entirely through sensory perception of vibrations and chemical signals in the water. They're one of the few animals on Earth that genuinely seem built to survive almost anything. Number 3. Barreleye fish. One of the most alien-looking fish in the ocean, the barreleye has a completely transparent, fluid-filled dome for a head. Inside that dome sit two large, tubular eyes that can rotate to look directly upward, scanning for the silhouettes of prey above them, or forward when feeding. What most people mistake for its eyes are actually its nostrils. The transparent head allows the fish to look upward through its own skull. It lives at depths between 2,000 and 2,600 feet and was not fully understood until 2009 when researchers at MBRE captured it on video with its dome intact. Previous specimens had always collapsed under pressure when brought to the surface. Number 3. Giant squids and the Kraken. For centuries in northern European seafaring culture, sailors described an enormous tentacled monster capable of dragging ships beneath the waves. They called it the Kraken. Scientists spent decades treating it as pure mythology. Then, in 2004, Japanese researchers captured the first ever photograph of a living giant squid in its natural habitat, roughly 3,000 feet below the surface of the Pacific Ocean. The Kraken was real. Giant squids can reach 43 feet in length and have eyes the size of dinner plates, the largest eyes of any animal on Earth, designed to detect bioluminescent light in near total darkness. Fossil evidence suggests they've been around since the age of dinosaurs, possibly preying on young mosasaurs and other marine reptiles. But giant squids aren't even the strangest cephalopod in the deep sea. At depths around 15,000 feet, researchers have filmed the bigfin squid, a creature with impossibly long, thread-like arms extending from elbow-like joints, drifting through the water in a way that genuinely looks extraterrestrial. Number 1. The sperm whale. Everything on this list, the giant squid, the goblin shark, the oarfish, exists in a food chain, and at the top of the deep ocean's food chain sits the sperm whale. Sperm whales are the largest toothed predators on Earth, reaching up to 60 feet long and weighing as much as 45 tons. They dive to depths exceeding 7,000 feet in search of prey, holding their breath for up to 90 minutes at a time. Their primary target? Giant squid. The scars left by squid suction cups are commonly found on the skin of sperm whales, suggesting these hunts are anything but easy. Sperm whales are also closely related to Livy melville, an ancient predatory whale that lived 12 million years ago and is considered one of the most dangerous animals in recorded natural history, rivaling even the megalodon in terms of raw predatory capability. Modern sperm whales are generally not aggressive towards humans, but historically that wasn't always the case. In 1820, a bull sperm whale attacked and sank the American whaling vessel Essex in the Pacific Ocean. That incident directly inspired Herman Melville's novel, Moby Dick. The deep ocean is still largely unexplored. New species are discovered every year. And if history has taught us anything, it's that the creatures we think only exist in myths and legends have a way of turning out to be very, very real.